World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. Tony Rogers here, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. I hope all is well. And I'm glad that you're able to tune in. We have a very interesting show today, something that's very dear to my heart. As many of you know, if you follow me on social media or read some of the articles that I've been writing about Ghana, you know that I have found a home, a second home, traveling to Ghana over, I guess, about the last 2 or 3 times this year. I have really been able to appreciate a certain type of kindness, a certain type of discovery, and a welcoming, which I try to now let people know as much as possible that many of the places that you might go to in Africa, I have been to a number of them, but Ghana is definitely, especially in the north, because most people go to Accra, but in the north, in Tamale, it's a whole different story as it relates to culture and your relationship. And today I have 2 guests, one who is in Ghana, and it's late there, so I appreciate him staying up and talking. But Tengol Kplemani is really my guide. He's the one that has helped me understand the North. When I have business people coming, he's the one that open up all of the doors. And he is really the person that has allowed for me to be connected. He and his team of people, Tengol, he knows everybody. So he's the person of the people who are looking to go to Ghana, especially in the north. Tango is definitely the person. How are you doing, my brother?
Hey, greetings, Mr.
Well, and I hope that we have Chief Martin Glynn. He is coming in from Alabama. Now, one of the things he told me, oh, you're here. I got
Yes.
worried because he told me that they had a tornado watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was,
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah. And
I,
I'm hanging in there though.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, brother. I mean,
Yeah.
above and beyond the call of duty, and Martin is going to have another show. As a matter of fact, I want to try to get the rights to his book, the first publisher, because this is a brother uh, who has many different talents, and, a number of different businesses, but he is now a chief in the north, and he has property, and he's going to be doing a number of interesting things with that property. But when we talk about going home, his brother has he has
Yeah.
definitely. In theory, I have a home, second home, but in reality, he definitely does. Matter of fact, but one of the good things is that he has. I have asked him to be one of his advisors, and he has agreed. So,
Yes.
that's another story too that we'll
Yes.
have. So these two brothers, Tango and Martin, created a program, The Taste of Afrika. So first, before we go into it, I would like Tango just to give a little information about yourself, and then Martin just a little information about yourself, and then we'll see how your backgrounds led you to coming together to create The Taste of Afrika. Tango?
Yeah, thank you, Tony. And it's an honor to be here again with you, uh, virtually. And greetings to all your listeners and viewers. Yeah, like the name goes, basically to really take back to our true self, our true identity, and also to unite our kingdoms, our continent, and serve as a bridge, connecting our brothers and sisters back home in the country. It's very visible to each and every of them, and telling them the true story of what the economy is really all about, what is being indoctrinated into their minds, which is making them a bit of the continent and what it entails. And yeah, we need to bring them home or back home so we can collectively build the African continent and build our communities, and they can be the rightful owners of the continent, like Chief Martin here, who really returned home, connected back to his root. So basically, that's what it is. That's why we came out with for oneness.
And again, and I know that with the location and everything, we can't hear you as clearly as we would want to, but basically, what you're saying, because you said it to me and you talk to me about it so often, is that it's what Tego was saying is that and Martin will be able to talk to this also, is that it's really a way to begin to allow for the diaspora to become awakened. And this is a time that is going to be very important for the diaspora to become awakened. And in that line, going to you, Martin, you
Yeah.
are an example. You're a businessman
Hmm.
in Alabama, even though sometimes that's like another land. You talk about tornadoes. We talk about muggers. They talk about tornadoes. I
Yeah.
don't know whether I might want to deal with the mugger than the tornado, but nevertheless,
Pick your poison,
tell
right?
tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll segue into how you guys got together and developed this organization.
Yeah. So, like, I'm a I'm an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. Um,
And Martin has a frozen screen. So
Yeah.
Martin is an entrepreneur. He does he's a used car. He was a used car salesperson. He does taxes. Are you back with me?
yeah, I'm back. I'm back. You know, I'm fighting this weather, so yeah, I see
I
you guys.
understand. You know,
Yeah,
hey, listen, brother. First
yeah,
of all, it's no problem. I mean, Tango is in. Are you in Tomlin? You in the mountain? You in the north, Tango?
Yeah,
Or you,
yeah, yeah. I'm currently speaking. Yeah,
Tango is
I'm
in the
here.
north trying to get through, and you
yeah,
battling tornadoes.
yeah,
So I am honored that you guys,
yeah.
and it's
What
about 9 o'clock where Tango
the
is.
tango
So,
is? Yeah,
but nevertheless, I got to the point of saying that I know that you at one point had a dealership, a car
yeah,
dealership,
yeah,
and I know that you deal with taxes, and I
yeah,
know that you have a farm. But
yeah,
that was I had to
yeah.
stop there. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, you know, and to summarize it, that's my passion is to always be an entrepreneur because I see economics as a way to helping Black people. So I'm into job creation, business ownership, and controlling our own resources. So, you know, I've done it my whole life, and so I teach it. And my pride and joy is the company called Masternomics, and this is where we teach this. We teach people how to be business owners, how to be a true entrepreneur, but more importantly, how to express themselves to the world. So this is what led me to connect with Tango, and we had this connection. We had never met each other in person. I had never been to Africa, but we met through a mutual friend, and we just connected, and we both shared this concept of uniting Black people all over the world. You know, I'm a student of Marcus Garvey, and what he did, he laid a foundation, and so we see the Taste of Africa as just that. And in 2020, we really established it, and we started connecting. We first started doing business ourselves. Him sending some products from Ghana, and we have them in the U.S. and selling them. And we built that connection. And that's very important for people to understand because it's all about connecting with a brother or sister on the continent and us in America when we doing business. So, you know, that's a little
and
background.
and again, this is part of what we are going to talk about. And I met Tango because he is also in music, and he was a guest at WACR. They have a African show right before mine, a West African show, and Tango was a guest because he was promoting music, and that's what he, said. Hey man, if you're the co-founder of Harlem Week, I'm doing this festival, and I'd like for you to, collaborate and we can share things. And but what he said that was interesting and is that he felt that music was like the common denominator. If you want to bring
Yeah,
people
yeah,
together,
yeah,
different. Music has its own way of being an ambassador.
yeah,
That he was dealing with this festival to begin to do that throughout the different places in Africa. So
yes.
that was interesting. But going back to you, Martin, you have a farm. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into what's happening in Ghana.
Yeah. Briefly, I'm gonna say this that when we see tragedy, there's always an opportunity. And so that the farm part came about by way of when the pandemic hit. And a forward-thinking person as myself, I started seeing things and saying, you know what, we got to control what we eat. And so that's what led me and my wife, and we got some acres of land. But the whole concept is for us to create our own grocery store, and for us to grow our own food and be able to outsource it and to network with other Black people. So we grow row crops now. I'm not, I haven't been a farmer my whole life. It's in my blood, it's in my ancestry, but I'm a business guy. So I connected with people that do the farming. And that's really what we have to do. We
And
as a people we've got to connect with one another and work and use our strengths together to
And for
formulate
this urban guy who I actually
companies.
did have some southern background up from 1 to 4, but you got to let people know what row farming is. You grow okra, and it's when the things are in a
Crops that
row, right?
grow.
You know, you got to let these.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
You got,
Yeah. So when you see the crops and they all grow in a row, like we grow squash, zucchini, we grow okra. It's your basic traditional farming grow in a row. And we started outdoors, but now we're growing indoor.
Oh, okay. Which brings up a whole another conversation, but nevertheless, Tango,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
tell us a little bit about how you have been able to make all of the connections, relationships. I was brought another business associate, Gary Jones, to Tango to look at doing some business, and Tango was able to get us to meet everybody who was necessary from the political side, from the government side, up into the mountains to the miners, and they all knew Tango. How did you find yourself to become that type of a person, brother?
Well, like Chief was saying, in terms of connecting us together as people, always me and you, I know we have a background conversation. My agenda is always to make sure I connect people to do business, to let them know the reality on the ground, and let them get to understand what is workable and what is not workable. And I call it is an agenda for me to fulfill a purpose here on earth by making sure we are united, we are connected economically, socially, and spiritually. And I think that has been my task all these years, making sure we lay a good foundation, both politically, traditionally. Mostly is the traditional my agenda. Mostly can do without the politics because that's the democratic system they have left behind for us, and we also have to do it to be in the game. I think that has been what I can say. I'm just remembering the ancestors and
Yeah.
wherever they direct.
And again, based on, it's kind of like an interpretation because it is the connection is not good, but what Tango
Yeah,
is saying, or what he is, or what he has done in his different types of roles, is to be able to develop relationships with the government, even though, and we have new government, but people who have been structured in the government for such a long time, uh,
yeah,
with and the people, especially in the North, so that when people like myself and Martin were, he was preparing himself for us, making sure that he would be that ambassador, that person when we were ready, he was going to be ready, and that's ancestral. He probably didn't
Yeah.
know why he was doing all of that stuff,
yeah,
Yeah.
as I didn't know why I was doing all of this stuff. But what has brought us together
Yeah.
now is becoming clear. I'm sitting here
yeah,
with traditional gear. This is a chief. It makes sense as it relates to what's happening now. We're going to talk about December the 25th, but before we do that, Chief, I just want you to give us a little information because when we talk about he's a chief, it's not just name only. The chief has land that he's developing, and there are two things: a farm to grow to help, bring his knowledge of growth from the city into the north, but also housing
yeah,
for
Yeah.
what is it? Ancestral? Is it what's the name of it? Ancestral Village,
Ancestral Homes Community.
ancestral homes.
Ancestral Homes Community, where people will be able to have a place to go get. Is it going to be co-op condos or rentals, or how is that going to work?
Right now, we're looking at like family homes, like single family homes. You know, because we're looking at community, and we emphasize family. So we want a certain mentality of our people to come and be a part of the community, the home of our ancestors, and to help build and develop. There's a lot of economic opportunity to develop money in Ghana. Period. You know, right now we're from Ghana. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at right now.
And what we'll do, because I know that you're developing the renderings and all of that for those who are interested. So this will not be our last show. So we'll, when we come back
Right.
again, we're going to kind of focus on what, if someone is interested of. Now, let me go back though before you.
Yeah.
Suppose,
Yeah.
I don't have a family and I want to live in Ghana. What about those people? Are you going to find ways to have those people? Some
No, we
people
don't
might
want
want to
them.
go
No,
to.
no, I'm
Some
just
people might want to
joking.
go to
Just joking.
Ghana to develop a family.
What
Who are you gonna?
exactly, exactly, and of course, you know, we want that mindset. It's time for us as Black people to realize we all been lied to. You know, brothers that are born in Africa were lied to, and us that were born in America and Europe, we've all been lied to, and there's been a concentrated effort to keep us apart. So when we call this ancestral, because this is the land of our ancestors. And yes, I am a chief. I am a king. I came back into the knowledge of myself. And being in the knowledge of yourself, you realize the land that you stand on, you are responsible for. So it's not just about us saying you're a chief. You have the action has to come behind it. So the land that has been granted to me, I've been also been given a mission, and that mission is to bring you all home, bring the brothers and sisters home, right? Because I can tell you, you know, being raised in the U.S. just like you, there's a lot of opportunity in the U.S., but guess what? We know what there's still so much racism, and we don't have control and ownership. And so the land of our ancestors, Africa, period, right? This is our land. And now, because of the way Ghana is such a beautiful, inviting country that has welcomed us home, and specifically myself, a chief in the Tolan traditional district in northern Ghana, my chief, Tolan, has granted us this land to build a community, right? To build businesses by way of farming. And so us diasporans, we can come home, we can live amongst the people, we can have land, we can create wealth, but more importantly, we can create sustainable sources of income that will help the brothers there on the continent and help us abroad so we can work together.
And one of the things that also is being worked on, thanks to Tango, there are all kind of business opportunities because Ghana is very rich in precious minerals. Shea, and plus not only that, shea butter and oil and all of those different types of things where what through Tango's support, and of course, if you now as a chief, because that carries a lot of weight, we can start talking to people from the African and Caribbean communities and kind of give them a step-by-step understanding of how you can begin to develop a business and export. Matter of fact, I was talking to a sister. We have in Harlem an African market. Tengol, you've been by there. It's basically Senegalese, but there are some people from Ghana. And when I talked with her, she says, "Yeah, I'm trying to find somebody who can help me get more stuff from Ghana." And I said, "Well, maybe we can talk about that because that's what we can do here. Once you go and you begin to see the different types of opportunities, and you understand how to begin and have someone like you, Martin, Tango, and basically me now because I'm learning it as I go along." To give you the steps and put you in contact with the people that you need to be in contact with to look at export and doing those things, we can put put the rubber to the road, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not just talk about this stuff. And
Yep.
there's just so many opportunities, which leads us kind of like in uh, the festival and the things that will take place in December. And Tango, I know that you have such an excellent um, team of marketing. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys do stuff.
Mhm.
You should be, doing things with getting the Oscar for some of the stuff. Some of the stuff. The only misjudgment I have with you is that someone came up with the idea of putting my face on on the fly. I don't.
Yeah.
I, I
You,
don't know
you,
whether
you,
I don't know whether that was wise or not, but nevertheless, it
you,
is. But
yes.
what are some of the marketing opportunities if people want to go to Ghana? Well, before we get to that, how did the Cultural Wellness Festival come about? Either one.
Yes. Like I said earlier, it's unfortunate that technology is not allowing me to get bit critical. There's a lot of feedback, but all is well. We'll still communicate the message. I'm sure whoever is listening now, their ancestors will give them the discernment here to understand us and our communication point. So yes, the cultural impulse was basically that I told you earlier what we stand for in terms of looking forward to unite ourselves. And when I met you, I did mention music. Like you said, our vibration or frequencies are always the same. We just have a vibration of that frequency, which is our culture, our identity basically based on that. Now, if we meet, if we are here in Ghana, the only time someone will, if I'm walking with you on the street, the only time someone will notice that maybe you are not living in Ghana is when you say African. But if you're on the street, they will see me. Oh, he and his uncle, on the street. They are going to town. We are all the same because today I'm on a t-shirt, and that is what the cultural awareness is all about. We're looking at a point where we can come together, celebrate our cultures in diversity, present it in one unified front, and to let us know that we're all in the same frequency. And it's about time we come together to harness that culture, to be the keeper of what belongs to us. You survive in the US because of the culture, and that is why you've been able to socialize it, and you have become global citizen for the world to know. But the vibration, you left the shores of Africa with our vibration. You left the shores of Africa with the culture, and it was your only source of survival. It was your only source of inspiration. And when it survived you, you started to socialize it. Now we want to bring that unity, go back to the traditions, and vibrate the true frequency of the cultures, and let the world understand that we are one unified people. It is just a miscommunication and misinformation, or someone sitting somewhere, like Chief Martin said, concentrated efforts. Someone sitting somewhere deciding to define all of us to his, understanding or to his direction, and that is where we are all riding the same way. And we brought the culture of oneness that we can come together, get to know each other, get to understand each other, like I mentioned earlier, spiritually, economically, socially. And when we gather together, we'll be able to bring these energies together to empower ourselves to be able to protect our culture in a unified front and connect us all across the globe, so we can be as powerful as we are as an African people.
Well, again, and Tango was talking about vibration and how that vibration never, or energy, or spirit, or however you want to uh, define it. I know I felt it. When you know, I, I've been to a number of other places. Matter of fact, Senegal was really a place, and still is, that's dear to me based on people, the relationship. But I did not feel what I felt. We were in the villages and dancing and doing that stuff, that was 1,000 years old. People, little kids were doing all of that. I, it hit me. It was like it wasn't love at first sight, but I fell in love, because of the energy. I could feel it, and as soon as you get off the plane, and I know Gary did an interview, and he said as soon as he got off the plane, and they said "Welcome home," he had tears in his eye. And he was trying to, man ain't supposed to cry. I was trying to keep it back, but but it really
Sometimes you have to.
But Martin,
Yeah.
as it relates to the festival, what are some of the things that you felt was important for 2024, and what will be important for 2025 as far as the different types of events that people will see?
Well, definitely what's important is the uniqueness of this festival is, of course, we use the music, the arts, the entertainment, like Tengol was saying. That's a vibration that connects us as Black people around the world. I think the uniqueness of the festival that we have and what we did this past year and going forward is the business forum. So we had our business forum at UDS, University of Developmental Studies. It went well, and it will continue to grow, because our thing is bringing the brothers, the sisters to the continent, to Ghana, to develop for themselves, to develop the country, to build wealth, to build sustainable wealth that can grow us all, so we can have another home. So, the business forum that's what it's about. It's getting the right minds, the young minds that are creative, and showing them, yes, that we need more waterways, we need more plumbing, we need more electricity, we need more of this. But these are opportunities, right? In these, what we see as problems are really opportunities for us as investors, and for us in America to invest in this continent, create wealth, and create homes for ourselves, and create better places to live and livelihood for the brothers and sisters that are there. So the business forum is very big. Along with this year, it'll be an even bigger musical concert. But it's to me, it's all about the sustainability. After we party and after we have fun, can we feed ourselves? Can we keep the clothing on our back? Can we build some businesses? Can we establish something? And we see what's going on all over the world right now. All eyes are on Africa. All eyes have always been on Africa, but now our own people are seeing Africa. So the Taste of Afrika, by way of the Cultural Oneness Festival, we just a vessel. We just doing our part to bring us home.
The dates and I believe the website will be up and ready at least by the end of this week. Is that correct?
Yes. And
that website is culturaloneness.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we'll have the payment structure and a lot. And one of the things that is also important for me is that I've been to Goree Island, but I never had the opportunity to go to the fort at Cape Cod.
Yeah, Cape Coast.
What is amazing to me is that when we went to the north and we saw the trail, and by plane it's like about an hour, I think, and driving is like almost a day.
Yeah.
But the slaves came from the north by foot all the way to the coast, the Cape, where the dungeons are similar to Goree Island, by foot. That's mind-boggling. To be able to do that, and we went on a tour, and which we'll do again, and Tango arranged that, where we saw rocks that had been caved in for plates where people would eat, and
Yes.
there's a water pond that's where they would get water to drink. And then for those who were punished, they saw, there was this thing that you were tied to.
And beaten.
But, and then, though, the people of the North got hip
Yeah.
and started running people out of there. That's why the North is the North. And
Yeah.
most people go to Accra because that's where the development was. And the colonizers couldn't get back to the North, so they forgot about it. They didn't have
Right.
books. They didn't have anything
Yeah.
because they couldn't get there, so they didn't do anything to help them. So that's
Yes.
why, the North is an important part. But the good thing about it is the culture didn't get brainwashed.
Right. Right.
The villages, are almost the same. Some of the villages that I was able to go to and post, they were doing things that they did before the colonizer came.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
those are the things that's important to see. But what do
Yeah.
you want to get out of this? We lost Tango. Tango
Yeah.
is in the mountains of the north. So,
Right.
I understand. But
But
what do you want to see come out of this event coming December?
Well,
In December.
what you were just describing, right? That's what is not known. In other words, we all have this concept of slavery, and we don't really know the process of making a slave, right? Because we're not slaves. We were never slaves, right? We've always been educated. We've always been people into agriculture, science, astronomy. But what happened was, through brutality, right? We were raped and brought, through the transatlantic slave system. So the key to what you were saying, it was all a system. So even when we go to the northern part of Ghana, most people don't know that's where a lot of where the slaves originated from, and they were brought, like you were saying, to the coast. But to see the conditions that we were in, like you were describing, to take rocks and grind it, and we eat out of rocks and things. But what we also find is the ancestors were always with us, right? We sung hymns and songs, and we sung songs to the ancestors from the beginning, from northern Ghana. And as they took us, hundreds of miles to the coast, and we got on the boat and we ended up in America, what were we still doing? We were still singing in the cotton field. So that is the connection. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. And anybody, your first time, whether you go to Goree Island, or you go to Cape Coast, or you go through the door of no return, where our ancestors went through and they never saw the shores of Africa again, you're going to have a spiritual connection. I'm telling you, like it's transformative. Yes, you go through sadness, but what you're going through something. And as you go through this understanding, this consciousness shift, this awareness, to realize that what we go through in America is not by chance and luck, it's by design. And so what we want people to do is realize that if people can design for us to fail, we had ability to design our lives for success. And so this is what this festival is about. It's bringing us together, oneness. We are one people. There's a concentrated effort to separate Black Americans from Africans, so to speak, right? That's done this stuff is done on purpose. There's power in that continent. All your minerals, all your resources are there. Europe, the world grew because of Africa. And so this is what we want to come about to the world, and to take advantage of the opportunity now that we're presenting. The ancestral homes community is one aspect. We have a Kplemani farm. That's another aspect of farming, and how we can make money, produce wealth, right? Things that we all want, right? But we can work together and we can develop, right, in the land of our ancestors.
And again, thanks to Tango. There's now opportunities to understand how to do export, import. There's so many products that is out of Ghana. One of the interesting things is the shea butter.
Yeah.
Every product that I look at now that's natural says it has shea butter, and some of them even say shea butter from Ghana. You
Right.
know, and we have we can disrupt that because it's not us that's exporting that stuff. And and Tengol took me to a place where they make it, and I got so much shea butter. He got a whole pail. I said, "How you gonna put
Right.
that on the plane?" With but it's it's a situation where, with the right type of business mind, we can take advantage of stuff that is ours in a sense. And when I realized that, when I was with Tango, with Gary Jones, the person that the people were so happy to be able to find a way to do business with someone, and when we met with His Majesty Jenipo, he was so happy to say, whatever I can do. This is the godfather of the new president, Mom. He said, I'm so happy to begin to look at. He said, I've been waiting for you all my life. That's what he said. To be able to start talking to people like you guys that can connect the dots.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity. The site is the cultural oneness that come. The trip is in December. December. What's the dates again, Tango?
Yeah, it's from December 6th to December 14th.
Uh-huh.
So we will have more like experience from the 7th to the 8th. And on the 9th, we headed to the north, and we take you back to the road. I know my network, when I came in, Chief was saying something that's one of the agenda why we go to oneness in the north. Most of you that love the show are from the northern part of the country. And that is why all the slave camps, the slave markets are all here in the northern part of Ghana. The likes of Cape Coast, the coastal belt, where your exit, your story is not complete. Exit point and not back to your root. And that is why we wanted to connect you back to your roots, so you understand how your journey started before you even got to the exit point. And that is the reason why Mr. Harrison said when you came, you felt because it is your true home. It is where your first life or your previous life, back the 17th centuries where you left. So immediately you touch the soil, that vibration will connect you back. And that has been our agenda to make sure we take you back to where you came from. You can have a connection to the exit point, knowing this is where you exited, but this is where you came from before you exit on that point. So we'll touch base here on the 9th, and we'll take you back to where the whole thing really started from, where they were camping all our sisters. And to make this very clear, I know most people in the state, some of you they was a lot of you and saying that we were selling ourselves out. This is never true. We were forced into whatever it is. Chief Martin have returned and is the chief now. There's no way to allow someone to go and slave him as a chief in his traditional area. And that is what happened. You go to farm, they kidnap you, and the next minute you are in jail. Somewhere the family can even locate you. And they have some kind of gadget or confiscated weapons that we were not having at that time. The only thing we had was the bow and arrow.
The bow and arrows that we tried to take on
exactly
the plane. And the helmet with the points.
You see,
I was trying to get on the plane. They said, you can't go on the plane with that. You got to wrap it up and all of those things. But that's again one of the reasons why I would like people, and I say this in the video that's on TikTok and all of those things that you made, that of course we want people to go to December, but we want people to begin to go, period. We want to make sure that we set up through the Harlem Tourism Board the ability for people, if they want to go, that they can go and know that there will be people that will be able to take care of them, to give them, the information that they might need, because the colonizer was good on both sides. And the same thing here for people who want to come here, to be able to understand that there'll be someone that can help them, because just as we have certain fears and all of that about what's happening in Africa, the Africans, have certain fears about what's happening here. Like Harlem. You don't want to go to Harlem. And even in Accra, they say you don't want to go to the north.
Right.
Why? Well, why am I going to the north? So those are the things that are important. And one of the great things about it, and Martin and Tengol, I have to salute you guys, is that you have been able to develop an all-inclusive trip from New York or wherever you're coming from to Accra for I think it's 2 days to go to the Cape Coast and all of that, and then an airfare to Tamale for the conference and all of that stuff, with the hotels and the foods and all of that stuff. And you've been able to do that for a price that you're the chief, so I know you're able to do things that most people can't do. But all I can say, because I want people to go to the site to look at it, all I can say is that you will not find any trip to Ghana or any place in Africa all inclusive with all of the things that's going to happen with the price that these brothers have put together, and it's doable, and it's amazing. I kept questioning, are you sure? That's going to happen with all of that stuff. But again, it's a way to allow for people to come together and do things. Matter of fact, Tango took us on a tour at the same one. We were where I was able to touch a live alligator, which
Yes. And you're brave too. You're brave, Tony. You wasn't afraid.
but your man Cameron, he was pulling the tail. I was saying, he was a big country guy. He's not pulling the tail. I said, you better be careful, man.
Right.
The alligator was saying, okay, I'm gonna be nice, but don't take this for granted. But there's so many things that are happening, and I'm so glad that you guys have been able to share some of this. Our relationship has grown, and Tango was trying to get me to Ghana for about 2 years. He kept saying, "Man, I was helping, and then people from the tourism board, Richard Cox, they were going and said, you got to go."
Yeah.
And finally, I said, well, 2025 is my year to break out and do some things. So I went, and I am all things happen when they're supposed to.
That's right.
I mean, things happen when they're supposed to. We'll say, well, what would have happened if this hadn't happened? But, the order of things happen when they're supposed to. So I am so happy that this has taken place. It allows for me to have a whole different point of view. Even when I'm looking at the news, I'm saying, yeah, well, that's them. I got something else to concentrate on. Because if you don't have something else to concentrate on, you're wondering, well, where am I?
Yes.
What's going to happen to me? With all of this is happening.
Yep.
But if you begin to know that you have some other places, that's why I tell people, you better get your passport. While you can, because they may stop giving passports.
That's right.
Or at least it's going to take so much time to get it, because with Social Security and all of these things that are gone. But we have always been a people, and you both said it correctly, from being able to go through that whole slavery thing, then the oppression that we still go through, and to be able to still stand. But this type of show, and thanks to Urbanology and Soul City and WACR and all of those vehicles that allow for us to tell our own story with our own narrative, and we can have these conversations. And in time comes in the future, if we still have a world, because you never know what's going to happen,
Right.
at least we've documented the fact
Yes.
that in 2025, we're closing that gap between the
There we go.
transatlantic slave trade and going back home. And
Right.
and it's I'm glad that I'm around to be able to at least see the beginning. I'm sure,
Yeah.
Martin, you were correct. This is just the beginning of all of this stuff.
That's right.
But it's something that every time I get up, I'm enthused, even though things will get you down. But then you start reflecting back on what I was doing in Ghana, and
Right.
and that spiritual dance. It allows for me to say, well, my ancestors are smiling on me,
Yes.
and it's happy. So again, Tango, thank you for being up so late to talk to us, because it's
Yeah,
5 hours different. I think it's
thank you. I don't spell it.
But this brother never sleeps, because
Nah.
I text him. I know it's late, and I don't
Yeah.
think that he's going. I don't figure he's going to see this when he wake up, and he
Yeah.
answers me back. So I
Yeah.
don't know how he does it, but
Uh,
it's great.
it's
And Martin,
effort.
well, and some of the herbs and stuff. That's the other thing with the village.
Yeah.
We were in a village, and he said, I got a stomach ache. So he went to this woman, and she put together some herbs and stuff for his stomach. He said, you just eat this. It's a bitter, but it'll go away. And so
Yes.
there's so many things that we don't know
Yeah.
that you can discover. And again, Martin, thank you for all that you do. We're going to have some more conversations about this as we start to get into it. We're starting kind of early to allow people to, and when you go to the site, at some point there will be a payment plan and all of that stuff for people to be able to work with that. And it's important. If things go well, I may be seeing you later on this month, Tango.
Yeah. Hey.
Going back.
Yeah. Oh yes.
They will. They will.
Yeah.
We're putting it in the universe. They're gonna
Oh
go.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But other than that, one last thing, Tango. Harlem Week, the Harlem Tourism Board has a grant that we're working on to create a Harlem tourism and hospitality conference, and we're looking at August the 21st. That's the date that we're looking for, which is really the Thursday, Wednesday after Harlem Day, but it's still in that time frame. So if we're talking about bringing some of the chiefs to Harlem, that's some of the time that we can start talking about as far as trying to create a way to have some of the chiefs come to Harlem, and Martin, we'll have to talk about that too, because we want to make it both ways. We're going there, but we want to make sure that they know that there's home here in America that we can work with. So those are some of the things that we'll be working on. And again, goharlem.org will have information. The Culture Wonders, culturewonders.com will have information, and I'm sure on or before the end of this month, you'll have all of the details that's necessary, and I can't express because I know I wasn't able to understand what you were trying to tell me and what you were trying to tell me, and even Richard, he said you gotta go and experience it. Words will
Yeah.
not allow for you to really understand. There's no words that can give you that energy and vibration. You have to go and feel it. I did. I am now. It's liberating.
Yes.
It's like a whole different thing to be able to not only say that you have a second home, but that place is welcoming you to come and flourish.
Yes.
And you are an example of that, Chief. You are an example of that. So again, thank you both
Thank you.
for
You
your
too.
time. Watch out for those tornadoes, man.
Yeah. I think we survived. It's calmed down now.
Okay, I was gonna say, get your red shoes in case you get caught up, so you can quick and come back.
He will always be well out.
But
Yeah.
at any rate, someone told me I got a text that President John Mahama may be coming to the U.S. Tango soon.
Okay.
I don't know what for, but I just got a text that might be happening. So that's a good thing,
Yeah.
We'll
Very
see
good.
how that works out. But anyway, thank you, brothers. I appreciate it. We'll be back again. Cultureoneness.com is the site that should have everything. If not now, it will be before the end of the month.
It is. Nah, all information will be out maybe by close of this week. But when you go to the site, you see a lot of stuff.
Sounds good. And
Yeah.
and at some point, Chief, we have to talk about your farming stuff. There,
Yeah.
maybe you should probably try to get into Whole Foods or something.
Yeah, it's some things in the making. We got to talk. We got to talk. You got to invite me
Yeah.
back.
All right, I'm open to be a consultant to spread some wealth here in America too.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, brothers. I appreciate it. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
and we'll be in contact. And Tango, thank you for all that you've done to open up Ghana to us. We appreciate you, brother.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
All right, take care. And that brings us to the end of the show today. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. One of the things, and many of you probably know, my dear friend and mentor Hazel Dukes passed over the weekend, and you'll probably, I'm sure, hear about the funeral and the viewing, which will be coming up soon. And we'll make sure that we make an announcement on either on WCR or on our show. So again, thank you for taking time. Remember, this is a good time. We're only going to really want to take about 20 people, so it's going to be first come, first serve, and it's I'll kind of let the cat out of the bag. We're talking about $4,000 for all of the stuff that we talked about. Going to 2 locations, round trip, food, carnival, festival, and all of that stuff. So it's in that area. So just for those who might want to know, take care. Appreciate you tuning in to Urbanology, the Art of War, and God willing, we'll see you next week.
This is Kier Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.